Live from Italia. I'm in Greece. Finally made it to Ia.
Live from Spain.
I'm in Bali. Live in Santorini, Greece.
From a beautiful, amazing Tulum. Welcome to my party. This topic's so good. Catherine, you partly inspired this topic because you asked me yesterday, and then you asked me and I gave you my answer. And I also talked about my answer in the Boss Lady Branding Bootcamp bonus. And then someone wrote something about me on the internet this morning. So I was like, let's just talk to everyone about this very pertinent subject. So let's meditate really quickly. Okay. We're just going to do a real quick one. So everyone sit up straight. Turn your palms up. Roll your eyes in and up and take a big deep breath in. Hold at the top, release. Breathing in again. Release. And taking a moment to come into your body, to let the day so far go, to release yesterday, to trust yourself. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're beyond okay. You are doing a good job. Everything is motherfucking adding up for you. Everything is happening for your good and in your favor to add up to the life of your calling and absolute dreams. You're here on purpose. You're a motherfucking badass. And it's 100,000,000% safe to have fun with your life and with this business. Breathing in again. Hold at the top and let it go. Okay, today's topic, what to do when bitches be cray. Okay, so super good, super important. So I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been doing it online in a big look at me. I have something to say. I'm here on purpose. I'm ready to share my work. Let me guide you on your journey. I've been doing it in like a next level kind of way for 3 years. And I was actually talking to Gabby Bernstein a couple days ago, and we were talking about what had me go from like I'm doing life and business, I'm doing life and business, to I'm doing life and business, I'm doing life and business, look at me bitches, I have something to say. And a lot of it was the Spirit Junkie Masterclass, actually. So stay tuned because I sell the digital version of that later in the year. But that's not even what we're talking about today. So for 3 years, I've been doing it boldly. I've been doing it in a look at me kind of way, right? And so because I do it in a look at me kind of way, people are looking at me. That's good. I set the intention to grow. I set the intention to have an audience. I set the intention to be never just about income, but equally always about impact. Like I always wanted the audience to be growing, and the number of people I'm able to influence, not just through my courses, but through like the body of work, through the body of free content. I always wanted it to be as big as possible, and I still want that. Like I'm think like 15,000 on Instagram and 10,000 in this group is like nothing. It's like nothing compared to what I want, but it's like a start. It's like a foundation. It's like on the way to where I'm going. So you grow this thing, right? And you get over the don't look at me, don't see me, and you get over the people are going to think I'm weird and rude and annoying, and who am I to think I can do this? And you get past that and you're shining, okay? So you're bold and bright, and people look at you all the time. And it will be inevitable for crazy things to happen. And maybe I shouldn't say it like that. Maybe I should have a different expectation from the universe. But let me tell you my experiences so far. So probably about like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I started getting, like creepery situations. I had a girl using my name, telling my stories, using my colors and fonts. She got her tattoo on my foot. So I've had creeper situations. I've had a lot of situations where people just took parts of my work, just like re-quoted me without quoting me, created courses like my courses they were in. I'll post about a topic one day and they're gonna post about it the next day, and that happens every day. So things happen. And then there's like the things like people just arguing with you on the internet, you know, like I was telling the story of being late to a hair appointment, and it wasn't like the most flattering story. Like, it's not necessarily good for the brand to talk about how I'm late all the time necessarily, but I do have an unapologeticness around like, none of us are perfect. Own who you are. Tell your truth. Like, share your stories. Don't pretend to be perfect. And I got all of these like very hateful messages and comments around like how I was so rude I was 15 minutes late, but I was so rude to be late, and they liked my work, but it was hard to respect me as a spiritual teacher when I was posting about how I was going to leave this girl a bad review and like whatever. And it's like, so you have these situations where people are putting you on a pedestal and they're expecting things out of you, and then they're disappointed when you don't act how they think you should act, right? Because spiritual teachers can't be human beings. And then there's people copying you, and there's people, like, there was a post this morning on the internet that was 100% about me, and there's only one solution to all of this. There's only one solution to all of this. And I've done a lot of different things, and there's only one thing that has consistently worked. Yeah, I'm a human being. I'm going to do human things. There's only one thing that has consistently worked, and it's completely energetic. It is the only thing that has allowed me to keep going and going bigger when there's haters, or when there's I don't want to call them like copiers. We can talk about what copying is in a minute. But when all these things are happening, the only thing that brings me any kind of, not just relief, but empowerment is rising up. And it's like an energetic thing. There's not any real step for it besides you decide you're bigger than that. You decide you're better than that. You decide you're bolder than that. You decide that where you're going is more powerful than all of that. You realize that people copying you isn't ever going to be able to negatively affect you. You realize it's never going to be able to do anything to take away from anything you've already done. And you motherfucking let it go. But the way it feels to me, and I say this like, I'm having a hard time with how to say this, because it sounds kind of like I think I'm above the person who I'm letting go. But how it feels is I rise up, I'm like, what the fuck ever, we have shit to do. And it just seems like everything else is down here. It's not that I'm above them, it's just so out of my realm of things I need to care about. Like, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna rise the fuck up every day. I have to. It's my calling. It's my purpose. I have shit to share. I have things to say. I have a lot to create. I have to take care of myself in a very real way to be able to create it. And I don't have time for any of this. So it just starts feeling like ants on the ground. Like, who the fuck are you? I don't even care what you do. And you know what I mean? But like, okay, so that's one thing. So that's like energetically how it feels. And then another thing is I have tremendous compassion. I said this to Gabby when we were talking the other day. I was like, it was hard for me to not rip you off. Not because I wanted to rip you off, but because I listened to you so much that some of your stuff, like, I sounded like you until I didn't. I sounded like you until I really developed my own voice. And I was watching myself do it, and I get that I was integrating some of what you teach and combining it with what I was always here to say. And over time, I sound like me. I sound like Amanda Francis. No one else sounds like me. So often, I like completely understand when I'm watching people kind of sound like me and share like me and do things like me or whatever. Like, I get it. But then at the same time, I was always so respectful. I was always so aware that I didn't want to sound like Gabby. I was always trying to move through that as quickly as possible, reword those things, change anything that sounded too much like her or anyone else. Like, I was so consciously aware of it, and then when I did, because I just didn't have the words for it and I needed to use her words, I quoted her because it's the right thing to do. I always said, it's kind of like how Gabby says, unless it's something that came from Amanda Francis' soul, then I don't need to fucking quote anyone. You know what I'm saying? So like, I empathize is the point, but I think it's the right thing to do to give credit to people. Anyway, so I can be empathizing with someone who's like creating things that look very much like mine, and I understand. And a lot of times I'm just like, okay, that's where they're at on their journey, and I just keep going and it doesn't affect me. And then sometimes if it's like getting to where like I'm concerned, I've messaged people or reached out before and said like, hey, it might be confusing to the marketplace if you create a course with the exact same name after you've been in my course. Or I've cease and desisted people only when it's been like really, really, really necessary, because sometimes delegating it to an attorney has felt like the best thing to do. Because I the first time I did that, I remember thinking like, you can't make this decision as Amanda who makes like $20,000 a month. You have to make this decision as Amanda who makes like fucking multi-millions and has a team to support her. Do you reach out to this person or does an attorney? Because this person's scaring you. And an attorney did. So that's the practical side, is there's lots of things we can do. But that, I like don't even want you to focus on that right now, because like if you get really, really caught up in what do I do, they're copying me, they're pissing me off, how disrespectful, I can't believe them. You're just like ego tripping. Like your ego is just fucking hurt. And what I said to Catherine when she messaged me yesterday, and she was like, do you think it's true that your ego gets harder to manage as your business grows? And I'm like, yes and no. So like, my expectations get higher. Like I expect a better life. I expect things to go more my way. I'm more unapologetic about all the things I want. So it's not like even ego. It's just like my co-creation level gets so much higher. And then at the same time, I mean, ego is ego. Ego is going to flare up no matter what. But the lie that I think all of us feel when we start to worry about whether people are copying us or how we're being perceived, it's kind of like this fear of we could lose our audience. Does that make sense? It's this fear of this person could do what we do better. It's this fear of I am not safe because little mini me's are going to like come up and whatever. And it's just crazy. Because they need to do their thing. They need to grow. They need to develop their voice. They need to get online and share their shit. They need to do their thing. And I need to keep going. Like, I need to next level. Like, I need to rise up to a place. And it's so crazy because Michael, one of my assistants, is finding me this quote right now. Like, 2 summers ago, I released this big, long rant on Facebook, and and I need to find it because I haven't shared it in so long, but the graphic said, be so caught up in your greatness that you notice nothing else. And that's how it feels to me. I'm so caught up in me doing my thing that I don't even have time to look at any of this other craziness. It's really easy to start blowing it off and just be like, whatever, I don't care. Like, I have shit to do, right? And so, yeah, that's how it feels to me. And then I was thinking about another thing I used to share on Facebook on this same subject. Oh, when I did my money makeover photo shoot and I was holding the money, lots of people did similar photo shoots after, and I was thinking like, and it irritated me because that was like my crazy idea to throw money in the air like a rapper. Like everyone, my friends and my photographer and I don't remember, did I have a boyfriend at the time? I feel like there was a man in my life telling me that was nuts. It doesn't matter. Everyone thought I was crazy, but like I knew that me holding the money unapologetically was going to symbolize something. So that like idea meant so much to me. Then a lot of other people did it. And I remember thinking like, this doesn't matter at all. And the reason that this doesn't matter at all is because that was my last good idea and I'm going to have my next good idea later today. So like as long as I'm engaged in my work and as long as I'm connected to my purpose and as long as I'm doing my thing, it doesn't matter if someone's stealing my old idea because I'm already going to my next thing and I'm going there fast and that next thing is going to change my absolute life and business, right? And that's all that I'm responsible for. So yeah, that's my solution. And like, I've been going back to handling this in the same way for years and years and years and years and years. And then I got really caught up in it a couple months ago, like a month ago. You guys heard me rant about it. And someone sharing or recreating my stuff or whatever, or who knows what the content is. It looked like about to make it rain. It looked like they were recreating my stuff. And I don't know, it really, really got to me that time. But like once I don't know, I think the reason it got to me, how do I be like really transparent? The reason it got to me is because I wasn't so obsessed with what was next for me. I wasn't so engaged in what I'm here to do. I wasn't connected to the vision. When you're connected to how big the vision is, it doesn't matter if someone sells their offer to your audience and 10 people sign up or whatever. Like, who the fuck cares? I don't know. So the moral of the story is rise the fuck up, rise the fuck up, rise the fuck up, rise the fuck up, and take a practical action when needed, but most of the time that's not the real solution. And I think the other moral of the story is be respectful of other people's work. Like, I can tell you that, like, I'm choosing to not take legal action against people I could, and that's fine, but, like, why would you even want to be in a situation where someone has to think about whether they should take those kind of actions towards you? Like, why would you ever... I don't even know. Like, to me, there's just this level of respect. If someone's given to me and given to me and given to me and given to me, I am grateful. I want to be really respectful of their body of work and of their content and of creating my own that is different from theirs, you know? So I think all of these things are relevant, you know? They're all true. Let's be respectful of each other. Let's quote people when we want to say something they've said. And then at the same time, when someone does copy us, let's just rise the fuck up and get over ourselves, because we have shit to do. And the energy of, like, rising up, do you guys feel that? Can you, like, oh, Ganesh, I love my Ganesh. My Ganesh has all these, like, prayers inside of it, little pieces of paper prayers. Isn't that so good? He's the remover of obstacles. This is a motherfucking heavy Ganesh. I used to have little cheap Ganeshas, and I used to, like, this is really weird. So my little plastic Ganeshas, or I guess they were glass, but they were like the remover of obstacles. And I was in this store, and this Ganesh was like several $100s. And I was like, am I really about to spend this much money on a Ganesh? And then I was like, wait, so if the little glass Ganeshas is what you got when you wanted like $10,000 months or 20 or whatever it was, then don't you need like a big, heavy motherfucking Ganesh for your $1 million year? And then I was like, yeah, of course I do. Not that my success is dependent on a Ganesh, but I am a big fan of him. He is the remover of obstacles. Okay, now I'm going on about Ganesh. So those would be the morals of the story. Let's respect each other. Let's quote people when we have taken a concept or an idea from them. Here's really what it is. Let's be our truest selves. Let's really tap into who we are. That's what the Boss Lady Branding Bootcamp is all about. It's all about going into who you are and that message, that core message, that one thing you know for sure, and getting so clear and unapologetic about that it changes the way we talk online. And when we're speaking from our core truth, when we've pulled our message out of our soul, we don't sound like anyone else, right? So I could listen to Gabby and I could integrate things she had to say, and that could influence me, but that's not the same as what I'm here to say, right? So when you're so connected to your purpose and your vision and your message, and you're so sure that the world needs it that you can't motherfucking shut up, and no one's gonna sound like you. You know what I'm saying? That is gonna be so authentically you, and the vibration of that is gonna be so strong that it's gonna attract people to you, and you don't have to care about other people copying or mimicking you, because their message is gonna be watered down because it's not absolute truth for them. Does that make sense? Okay, let's talk about energy. I'm gonna say one more thing about energy. Okay. So just like how it's energetic for me to rise up and none of that stuff matter, it's very energetic around how I determine that people treat me. Like, I don't have thousands of messages in my inbox trying to get free coaching anymore. I don't have people emailing me trying to pour their life stories out to me, though I'm not upset when someone does want to reach out to me. It's just like, I've set this boundary of, hey, I have this Facebook group, come here to ask me questions. And like, I've set different like kind of parameters for how to reach out to me, and people respond accordingly. I don't have people trying to abuse my time or take advantage of me the way I once did, and that's energy, but it's all energy. So there's also something true. My friend Amy said this to me, and she was completely completely right. She said, Amanda, if people are disrespecting your work, where are you disrespecting yourself? Like, where do you not have a boundary around, I'm not available for you to copy me? And at the same time, where was in my life a mirror for that kind of disrespect to show up? Does that make sense? How did you differentiate your content with Gabby's? I created content that came from my soul, and if I needed to use something that Gabby had, I didn't emulate Gabby's message. I had my own message, and I wanted to share something I had learned from Gabby. I gave her credit because that's the right thing to do. Does that make sense? Okay, so I haven't really taken Q&A, and I really have to go, and I can't, I can see, I can look right here. I was about to say I can't see what time my next appointment is because I'm on my phone, but, okay, I'm good. I have 7 minutes. Okay, Q&A, 7 minutes, go. Do you guys have anything? Do you need anything from me? What can I answer? But does that make sense? It's all energy. It's all energy. How people interact with me, how they act in this group, the kind of messages I get, it's all motherfucking energy. It's all what I'm available for. Just like money, just like men, just like everything else. I get what I believe I can have. I get what I'm available for. The things that there's no room in my life for, like I'm so just unavailable for that shit, like I can't even imagine having that in my world, that doesn't show up. Whether like you guys heard me talk about in the Drop the Money Struggle Bundle, or like you've heard me talk about in anytime I ever talk about money, I always have an energetic minimum. I can't imagine making less than $100,000 a month. Like I can't fathom. I'm unavailable. And that number has been significantly different numbers over time, but energy is energy. It is energy, and what you hold space for, what you know for sure. I said it to a friend yesterday, and I was like, Alyssa, it's just about what you're sure about, what you're sure about, your confident expectation. That is always what we get. When people are copying your work, do you block or remove them from your social media? Do you remove them from your groups? This is starting for me in my business. Sometimes. Yeah, I have 3 times. 3 times it felt like the person wasn't understanding why it was really blatantly wrong the way it was presented, and I did remove them. Most of the time, no. Most of the time, no, because I have this overwhelming amount of compassion that says, like, be on your journey, do your thing, you're gonna be fine. Like, this is just where you're at right now. That's energy too, though. There's energy where it feels harmless and I see their journey, and there's energy where it feels like, what the fuck? Like, they don't belong in my world. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like trying to copy me, trying to get a rise out of me. I don't have time for that, you know? What energetic sex do you recommend for someone to keep believing their vision without getting distracted with what everyone else is doing? Don't look at what other people are doing. Like, I mean, I don't like go to people's Facebook pages and see what they're doing. I really don't care. Like, I don't look. And then energetically, it's that feeling of I'm so caught up in my work. I'm so excited and jazzed about my work. I love so much what I bring forth that I just don't have a lot of room to pay attention. You know what I mean? How do you know when you need to shift those boundaries? Like, I feel I'm shifting after a breakthrough hot mess moment. I mean, I'm reaching out for help more. For me, it's natural. So it's kind of like you realize something's not working. It doesn't feel good. You start going like, what the fuck? I do not like how I'm showing up for this or how I'm handling it. So likely for me, I would think it through / journal it out. You know, I'm like a journaler. So I journal out like it's making me feel this way and it's bringing up this for me and I'm willing to see this differently. And whatever, processing, so, you know, like saying everything I feel and need to say, and then being like really, really ready to be brought a different view, a different angle, a different way of seeing things. And then I kind of write out what I want, you know, so... Okay, I'm going to say this because I think it's an exercise you can do, but then I'm going to say what it feels like. So one exercise you could do would be write out what you want. Like, this is how my community is. This is how my community treats me. These are kind of the people I attract. This is kind of the interactions we have. And all of that can be really, really good because it can help you get clear and help you get in the energy of it. But often I don't even need to do that journaling because if I process and I ask for help, I will feel myself shift. I will feel myself rise up. What I'm available for will change. Does that make sense? And it'll just be something that happens inside of me because I got motherfucking done with the bullshit. You know what I mean? You've done it before. You decided the way a guy acts or the way a group of girls are or something your family says to you. You decided like you're done. You have no motherfucking room for it. Then the second you decide you're done, you shift the boundary. It happens inside. Does that make sense? How do you get out of a rut with your business? Oh, I've had some ruts. I was in a rut not that long ago. How do I shift out of my rut? I mean, lots of things could happen. Like for me, this past one, it was like when I went to like a boot camp workshop VIP day thing. That really kind of shook me up, right? And that was kind of my inspired action. Okay, so I could tell you that you could be led to a course, you could be led to a workshop, you could be led to a coach, you could be led to someone who's going to give you a fresh perspective, hold space for you, help you see things differently. Like when you get in their energy, it up levels you. So, okay, you could be led to do a lot of things that would shift you. But like what it is that brings me back, what it is that brings me out of the rut is coming back to my message again, coming back to my purpose, coming back. So there's like the aspect of who I want to help and how do I help them and how do I serve them and how does serving them change their lives and how does serving them change their families and how they're serving them change generations and how does serving them influence the world. And I have that. That brings me back home. That brings me back to purpose. But then also getting clearer on what I want and what I'm here to do. Not just who I'm here to serve, but how I want to live my life, like what I want to call in, like the quality of my existence. So it's like what kind of life do I want and how does my work support that? Because I'll get into a rut of using my life to support my business instead of my business to support my life, and then I'll be exhausted and have no joy. And joy is the highest vibration for manifesting, right? So like for me, it's always coming back to it's always getting clear on what I'm here to do, what I give, why it's important, how it affects my life, what I need, what I want, what I'm excited about, how I want to flow, how I want to be, how I want to attract. And when I'm just like really clear on where I'm going in my life and what all this means to me, then it's hard to stay in a rut, you know? Purpose always motivates me. Purpose gets me out of my rut. Meaning. I significantly need meaning to be inspired. And I love you guys so much. And I think you're motherfucking badasses. And I'm so honored to serve you. And let's just be real. I'm not going to be perfect. You're going to hear me say things and you're going to go like, oh, that was good. And you're going to hear me say something else and be like, oh, she needs to work on that. And some of it you're going to integrate into your life and some of it's not going to be right for you. And that's okay because I'm not trying to be your fucking mom or guru. I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm doing my thing for me and my life and my calling, knowing that it will serve you. Knowing that my unapologeticness will help you know that you can do it too. And I'm going to fuck up sometimes. I'm going to get in weird ruts. I'm going to be offended when people copy me. I'm going to say things you don't agree with. And if I can say this from experience, if you put me on too much of a pedestal, that it really makes it to where you have a hard time believing in your work because you see me fuck up, then you're going to have problems, right? Because I've done that with teachers. And it creates a situation where like they can't be human and they can't go through their journey. You know what I mean? So don't put anyone in that spot. You're setting yourself up for your own heartbreak when you start thinking that, like when you make an idol, basically, you know, when you start thinking someone should be perfect and godly and spiritual and know better all the time, because we're all just human beings channeling really cool shit. Okay, I love you. I'm Amanda Francis on all the social medias. My website is amandafrancis.com. I hope you loved this live stream, and I will be back soon.